This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, this is a week 3 midweek critique. Peter Olson speaking. I'm here with Ashley. We're going to look at some work on identity package and color palette. So, Ashley, uh, you evolved your logo in a really great way. It kind of looks like Cinderella's carriage, and you've got the W for Windsor in there. It has some elegance that sort of fits your brand, and it seems iconic. Your lockup with the type is really good.
Okay.
Um, your assigned color was this. Wait, all right. I'm not showing my screen yet. Here we go. Sorry. There we go. All right. So, yes. So, this logo has evolved wonderfully, the icon. The icon word mark is really great. I like that you added traditional to T that fits the brand. Your type hierarchy is pretty good, very good, actually. You got the website in there. These are excellent business cards, top notch, very good. Um, envelope. This is great. I can't really see what that is in the corner. What is this? Is that teacups?
Well, so I took some of the elements from another logo sketch that I did, and then sort of added some things to it. And I sort of wanted it to look. I just felt like it needed, with all of the solid color that I was using, I felt like it just needed something. And so I envisioned actually using that more in the packaging. And so I kind of struggled with how to incorporate it into some of the collateral elements, because it is hard to see, and I really, like I said, I envisioned more using it in my packaging.
Yeah, okay. I get it. One suggestion I might have for you is you could potentially use some sort of pattern in the
Hmm.
background where these orange, instead of just solid orange color. I mean, it works pretty well the way it is,
Okay.
but it looks like all weathermen.
I don't know why. I don't know why when I thought about English tea, Willard Scott's name popped in my head, and then it just became this
Yeah,
running theme.
fun. That would be the only thing. You're sort of like ahead of the game. So I would just say you could experiment with some texture, some patterns to
Okay.
see how that comes out. But when you see this all together, you can see it has a branded look. The color ties it together. The logo is consistently used. The icon's distinctive. The typography is good. Excellent. This is A plus work. Great.
Okay. Thank you.
One little note here. This looks too tight to the edge right here. There should be a little more margin there.
Okay.
But other than that, excellent.
Okay. Thanks.
So you were saying you were struggling with last week, but gotten better?
Well, I'm not really sure. The sketches actually, I think the issue there was, I don't know why, but all of mine weren't showing up in the browser, so that got straightened out. But then last week, I guess, I think what really happened was, I guess I went a little too rough draft, with my logo roughs, and I just sort of like, I interpreted the assignment as just like get it into the template and see like kind of which three you're working with, and so I guess I didn't do enough detail. Um,
Well, this is extremely polished, professional looking work, so you've made up for it. Excellent work.
okay, thanks.
Uh, Charlotte, uh, welcome. Let's take a look at your work. Let's see, you must be over here. Yeah, there you are. All right, Tortuga jelly beans. This is your total identity package. You went with the treasure chest. Um, so, a couple things. I would give some hierarchy to your logo type. So Tortuga's big, Jelly Bean's small. If you look at, as an example here, what she did, Windsor, traditional tea, like that kind of hierarchy works well, and that'll help you. Can you hear me okay, Charlotte? Yes, Charlotte, I will do that. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat window. I will make you the presenter. Take it away, Charlotte. Okay. Are you able to speak? Do you have a microphone? I'm not hearing you if you're talking. Okay. I'm assuming you wanted to show me some of your work. So it still looks like you're presenting. So are you able to bring up your files? Your kids are playing. And we'll take a look. Charlotte, why don't you do this? Why don't you just post it to the discussion and I'll take a look at it there. All right? I can give you some feedback based on what I'm seeing here. Is that okay? Okay. Uh, I sort of like the concept of your treasure chest. It feels a little unfinished. I know you have this purple color as your assigned color. So you really want to think through the color palette and how that's going to work with this logo. Like the panels of this chest, I would think they'd be something other than white.
Your
So
not on again.
your what?
Your screen's not sharing.
Oh, sorry. As a share. All right, there we go. Thank you. Yeah, so the panels of this chest should be something other than white. The colors of the jelly beans maybe a little more cohesive or something, more of an analogous palette, perhaps. When I see all this red and green, it makes me think of Christmas or something. So a little finessing there might help. Your identity elements. So you've got this sort of two jelly beans, and it looks like there's a pirate with a tricorn hat or something. I'm not really seeing it. So I would say rather than make it a watermark or like sort of back in the background, you could use it as a stronger element, maybe. It feels like you got a lot of different things happening and nothing's quite come together yet. So when you do logo type, don't use the logo type elsewhere. Just let it be the logo. Use a different font for your font here. But it's neat. You've got good craftsmanship. It's starting to come together. I just don't feel like you've gotten the sort of juice together, like how it's all going to work. And I think it starts with getting your logo and getting a color palette right. You didn't post a color palette, did you? Are you following me, Charlotte? Am I talking to nobody? Can't tell. Um, you didn't post it, but you can. All right. Well, if you want to go back and do that, I'm going to go look at some other people's work while you're getting that together, and we'll come back to you. So over here to Sean. Sean, you're doing sweet tooth gummies. So you've got this icon, which is kind of a pink bear head, and I like the icon. You haven't figured out your typography logo lockup yet. The way this should work is Sweet Tooth should be big and dominant. Gummies could be small. If you follow what Ashley did here, like yours would be a small Sweet Tooth and giant gummies. So it's the opposite. You want big Sweet Tooth, small gummies, and lock it up with the icon so that you're not sort of reconfiguring it. And then you've got a pattern. It's kind of hard to tell what that is. It looks like you could use a lesson on how to do patterns in Illustrator, because I feel like this is like somewhat inconsistent spacing, if that makes sense. And I would love to do a one-on-one session with you if you're able, and I will give you some tips on how to do that. The big oval, bright pink outline, green filling, this is like really a dominant element that's not necessary. So figure out how to lock up your bear head and type in a good way, and then you'll have a logo that's functional. Right now, this logo has to be giant to be seen properly, and that's sort of dominating your designs. The green color is a good secondary color. I think the pink is your assigned color. So it seems like you're starting to flesh out a palette that's decent. So good job on that. And just throwing the icon in low opacity, that's not really an idea. So think a little more deeply about how you could make that work. I think you had other elements in your logo worksheet that might help you. So hopefully that's helpful. What else do we got? All right, Kim. Kim, you're doing cactus cookies. So you've got business card, letterhead, stationery. You've got a color palette that has a green, an orange, a yellow. I think the orange is this greenish color, cactus color, is your assigned color. So you need to also consider the logo lockup. So how is your type working with the icon? Your icon appears sort of differently. It's got these side pieces. Here it doesn't. The type's up here. There's no type here. There's no type here. So what you're trying to do is create a consistent look based on a logo that's consistently used. Your craftsmanship is okay, but you need to sort of figure out those elements. Now, this sort of texture thing is interesting, but I have no idea what that is. But if you could sort of develop that further, maybe that's a secondary element, like a pattern or something. Like I said, I think your color palette is potentially working, but you got to work out that logo first. I think that's it. That's all I've got. All right, guys, I'm going to end today's session. Do you have any questions before I let you go?
Is there any way that I can show you the rest of my color palette right quick and make sure that it works?
Yes, sure.
What's the easiest way?
Well, if I could make you presenter, then you could see it.
All right, give me just 1 second. Let me get it. I've got a million tabs open. Let's see. I think it's in here. Yeah. Okay. And then let me figure out how to screen share right quick. Whenever you're ready, I will figure it out. Okay. Let's see. Okay, now let me get to that page.
Nice.
There we go.
This is a wonderful color palette. This complementary, you've used that highly effectively. I would even, this sort of minty green and then the cream, this all fits with your brand quite well. You've got a nice dark color, sort of a brownish, cool brown, I would say, but that gives you sort of an element for contrast, like a black. So this palette is excellent.
Okay, and as I just wanted to make sure it's not. I worried that it was reading a little bit too modern.
I don't think so. You really sort of bridge the gap because I know you kind of like contemporary stuff, but it's working really well. You were just fishing for compliments. That's what this
No,
was.
no, you said something, one of my logos or something. You said you felt like it was too a little bit too contemporary. So I actually really struggled with the color palette. And when I do lean sort of contemporary. So when I did it, and I only had those few elements or those few colors out of it in them. Um,
No, but you've actually got sort of a structure here that works really well. A lot of people have color palettes that have very little variation in value, like the light and dark are very similar, and that is difficult to work with. What you've done, you've got good hue contrast with a complement, and then good value contrast with these tints and this darker one as well. So you've got a good variety. It's like a good toolkit to work with.
okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't, like you said, I do lean a little bit contemporary, so that's sort of been my struggle.
What I admire about what you've done is that it sort of bridges the gap. It has traditional elements and gets the feeling of the brand, but it still has a contemporary kind of look. So
Okay,
good job on that.
perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, now I'm actually going to let you go. I will probably, I'm going to try to jump on at noon tomorrow and give another critique if anybody's interested. And as always, I'm available for one-on-one session. You just have to reach out to me and I will try to get with you when we're both available. So have a great day. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you.